Hey everyone, and welcome to Higher Cooking. Today's a special day for me. We're going to be remaking one of my family's favorite recipes, shrimp DeJonghe. I really didn't know a lot about it when I started my research on it. I was fortunate enough to find the actual recipe from Captain Alexander's Wharf, which was my favorite restaurant my grandfather had. It was this great little seafood place in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where no one thought fresh fish or fresh seafood was a real thing. And in the early 80s, to be able to go into a place and sit down and have this glorious dish of sizzling shrimp and garlic and butter just always was the highlight of my trip. So today I'm going to try to recreate it the best I can for you, going by the exact recipe that was used at Captain Alexander's Wharf. We're starting with just the most simple ingredients: butter, sour cream, breadcrumbs, and then we're going to spice it up by using A1 and Worcestershire. This is a crazy recipe, but the end result is outstanding. So let's give it a shot. Shrimp DeJonghe is a classic American dish with a rich history that traces its roots back to the early 20th century. Its origins are firmly planted in the culinary traditions of Chicago, a city known for its diverse and innovative food scene. Shrimp DeJonghe is named after the DeJonghe Hotel, an establishment that operated in Chicago in the early 1900s. The dish is believed to have been created by the DeJonghe brothers, most likely Henry, who was the chef of the family. It was designed to be a simple yet elegant dish featuring shrimp baked in garlic, butter, and herb-infused breadcrumb mixture. While the original DeJonghe Hotel no longer exists, the legacy of its namesake dish endures, continuing to delight diners with its timeless appeal. Today, we will recreate the famous dish using Captain Alexander Wharf's original recipe. The first thing that we need to do is make sure that we have all the proper ingredients ready. So in this recipe, we're going to use a couple pounds of shrimp, and we're going to make our topping that we will then put over the shrimp and bake off at 400 degrees. So let's get started. It's time to make the DeJonghe topping. It's best to have a couple sticks of butter left out for a few hours so they warm up, because we're going to whip the butter together with the actual breadcrumbs to start making the dough for the topping for the DeJonghe. And just slowly start to whip that out. Next, we're going to add the breadcrumbs to the actual whipped butter. Make sure you scrape the bowl down, as the butter tends to fly out on the edges and you miss some of all that goodness in there. Now we add the parsley to our dough. I'm going to add the juice of a half a lemon. Next, we're going to be adding 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce and 1 teaspoon of A1. What you end up getting is a dough that looks something like this. It's a nice paste, and it's the perfect mixture to put on top of beautiful shrimp to give you the most incredible shrimp DeJonghe in the world. Let's prep our casserole dishes for the shrimp DeJonghe. First thing, you want to make sure that there's a little oil or butter in the bottom of these, because we don't want the shrimp sticking to them as they bake. Easiest way to do it is just simply use a little butter. I like to do that and just rub it on the bottom of the plate and all around the edges. So just simply nice little layer. This keeps everything nice and yummy, but it also prevents anything from sticking. And we'd hate to have our shrimp stuck to the bottom of the casserole dish as we're trying to scoop out these incredibly wonderful. So again, simply rub a little butter on the bottom of your casserole dishes. These little ones are great. I honestly got these because these remind me exactly of the ones that they used to serve at the Wharf as an appetizer. 5 beautiful shrimp with the shrimp DeJonghe topping. My God. These are our 16 to 20 count shrimp. That means that there's roughly 16 to 20 of these per pound. These are great for hearty appetizers. I like having a bigger shrimp. Some people will use some of the smaller ones and add more shrimp to it, but there's just something about taking one big shrimp with that big luscious bite. But feel confident you can use any size shrimp in this. What you simply want to do is lay the shrimp down so they cover the bottom of the bowl, or the casserole dish in this case. At the recipe at the old restaurant, they used to do 5 of these big shrimp per serving. So that's what we're going to do here as well. We'll get those to fit in as nice as we can. And you'll see that this is why I love these. Trays are the perfect size for 5 shrimp. Now what I always found the most interesting part was they simply just made a dough out of the ingredients that we made earlier and use it as a topping basically for the entire dish. So I've played around with this, and what I found is if I can just use small balls and make a piece like this and lay some of it over my shrimp, it works out really well. I used to try to make one big one, and as much as I tried, it just wasn't worth all the effort. So I make a couple little patches of dough now. Make sure it's spread out really well. Get it to cover over all of our shrimp. You want to round off our entire platter with this if possible, because you want to make sure that you're getting great amount of this beautiful mixture to finish off our shrimp. So I like to make sure that I'm pretty covered. I get a good base on all of these. Get that spread out really nice. And you'll have enough topping to do about 3 of these little platters. So don't worry, there's still plenty in here. We'll just make our little breading like this. You can see how I just made it so that it goes on here and it covers it well. Once I kind of get the initial stuff going, then I just try to shoot and fill in the holes of these dishes. Next, we'll pop these in the oven at 400 degrees until they're golden brown. We pulled them out of the oven, and I have to tell you, they look amazing. I haven't made these in like a couple of years, and I forgot how much I really enjoyed this recipe. So what you want to do to finish it is probably just take a little bit of the parsley they had and just sprinkle a little right on the top. And the way they served it at the restaurant was they just served it with that, and then with 1 lemon set right on the side. Nothing fancy. And really that burst of fresh lemon juice right on the finish when you do this really gives that nice citrus kick, because this is already a pretty rich dish with all that butter and garlic. So let's give it a shot and see if it's still as good as I always remembered it was. So again, take our beautiful lemon, squeeze a little fresh juice on top, and let's give this a shot. One of my favorite parts of the shrimp DeJonghe was this edge right here, where it starts to get all brown and crusty. There's a little extra crunch, and it has a little more burnt flavor to it, and man, I love it. It was always my favorite bite as a kid. You'd scrape your fork around the edge and get that crispy outside edge. So let's take a cut of this beautiful shrimp in here. We can see these great breadcrumbs. And here's the first bite of shrimp DeJonghe. Man, I forgot how much I love this. That is such a good bite. Oh man, I have to make these more. This is amazing. Such a simple recipe, but so elegant. Man, I could eat this whole thing right now, and I might just actually do that. These breadcrumbs, that fresh parsley, a little bit of that freaking lemon juice. If you can hear the crunch, that is shrimp DeJonghe at its best. This is the first of many recipes that have been inspired by the Azar family restaurants, and I'm incredibly excited to keep trying more and more and recreating some of my favorite flavors of my youth. So our journey will go everywhere from shrimp DeJonghe to big boys. Can't wait to keep on the path, and I look forward to seeing you until our next video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and hit the little bell in the corner, and that will give you a notification when I release new content. And now I'm gonna eat the rest of this shrimp DeJonghe because it's the best, and I made 2 trays and it's freaking like 11 o'clock in the afternoon, so I can call this lunch now. So I'm just gonna sit back, probably have a Diet Mountain Dew. When I was a kid, it was a root beer. But now it's a Diet Mountain Dew. Have a Diet Mountain Dew and knock these out. But man, are these good. I can't believe this is recipe 1 of a day of 4. Can you imagine how tired I'm gonna be at the end of this? All right, let's get these. Now I put a couple of these aside so I can bake these off later, but I don't know if I should eat all these. I'm trying to be skinny, but it's not really working right now because I'm making butter and shrimp and breadcrumbs. My God.